Now, sir, can we now start with the next session?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now to begin with the next session of our Day 3 program, we have amongst us Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat. Now I request Agrawal Sir, Chairman, Civil Engineering Department, to please welcome Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat.
So first of all, I welcome Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat in this 6 days faculty development program. For the information of speaker, I would like to tell there are 200 participants from various 18 states of India who are participating in this program. And this is regarding green technology and sustainable environment. Regarding our speaker, Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat is superintending engineer in irrigation department at Gurgaon. He obtained his master's degree, his PhD degree from IIT Delhi. And now he is the alumni of Delhi. He has done a lot of work in water conservation for society. He has published several articles in newspaper, and he has given several innovative ideas for the development of water resources, particularly in villages. His lectures, interviews are telecasted on TVs. Above all, he is a very good administrator, speaker, and teacher. Recently, our university has also given a task of pond development in 4 districts: Gurgaon, Palwal, Nuh, and Faridabad. Sir, we need your guidance for better development of these ponds in these cities. We have all infrastructure, but your guidance will help you. So now I invite Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat for his invited talk on water conservation.
Dr. Rawat, please unmute yourself.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible now.
Thank you, Dr. Agrawal. First of all, let me thanks J.C. Bose University of Science and Technology, YMCA Faridabad, for inviting me to deliver a talk on water conservation under the Faculty Development Program on Green Technologies and Environmental Sustainability, GTES 2020. As Dr. Agrawal has told, I am Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat, Superintending Engineer at Gurgaon in Haryana Irrigation Department. I have done my PhD on Yamuna system and Haryana Canal system from IIT Delhi and presented many papers. Before taking the proceeding on the talk, I will start with certain lines. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Shows the gravity of the quality of the water we have. Similarly, the importance of water is that Jal hi Jeevan hai. Jal hi Jeevan hai, it shows the importance of the water. Then again, Rahim ji has written very beautifully some 400 years back, Rahiman pani rakhiye bin pani sab soon. Means water is so important to our life that even thinking of survival without water is not possible. And this corona pandemic has established that water is such an essence to the life that to fight with the pandemic or viruses like COVID-19, you have to wash hands 20 seconds. This is what the WHO says. So again, establishing the importance of the water. So before I will discuss the modalities for water conservation, I just wanted to share the background of the why we need water conservation. So if we talk in terms of the water availability on the mother planet Earth, we see that 97% water available on the earth is saline, salty. We cannot drink it, we cannot use it. Only 3% is fresh water, out of which only 1% is available on surface, lakes, rivers, oceans, atmosphere. Remaining 97% of that 3% fresh water, 69 is frozen in glaciers and 30% is as a groundwater. So limited availability of surface water, that is 1% out of 3% of the fresh water. Then if we talk in reference to the, with reference to the country as a whole, that's India. We are the 7th largest country. Every sixth Indian, every sixth person is an Indian. That is, we are having 18% of the world population. But as far as water resources are concerned, we are having only 4% of the total world's water resources. So again, we can see the gravity of the situation. That is, we are the 7th largest country. We are the 2nd most populous country, but having only 4% of the water resources of the world. As far as water availability per capita per annum is concerned, in India, it has come down from 1816 cubic to 1500 cubic in 2016. And it is projected by 2050, it will be around 1100. So as per the world standards, per capita availability less than 1700 cubic annual is considered as water stressed, and less than 1100 is 1000 cubic is considered as water scarcity. So with the passage of time, we are reaching to waters, we have reached to water stressed condition and now proceeding for water scarcity if at present the steps are not taken to conserve, to store, to recharge the groundwater. So this is with reference to the Indian water resources. And even the Niti Aayog has in 2018 in a report published by Niti Aayog based on the composite water index, it has been predicted that in this, by the end of this 2020, 21 cities, including the Delhi, Madras, Calcutta, all our major cities will be having zero groundwater by 2020. Such is the situation we have to face in future if steps are not taken. And the Niti Aayog has further projected that 100 million people will be affected by this as per the report. Though as far as India, we see the most of the water we get through the rainfall, and rainfall is erratic, scanty. It has spatial and temporal variation. At the same time, we have the floods in some areas, and we have the drought in certain areas. So there are certain issues of interlinking the rivers. There are interstate disputes leading to exaggerating the water scarcity in the country. We have to learn from the countries like Singapore, like Israel, which do not have any, which they depend on the seawater, or they have developed certain technologies to recycle and reuse the wastewater, and they are very well maintaining the water demands. Now, with reference to the Haryana, because we are the University of YMCA is also in Haryana, and I am also a government officer in Haryana Irrigation Department. So with reference to the data of Haryana, because Haryana is an agriculture state, almost 80% water is consumed in the agriculture. So whatever water we have, 80% of that is used for irrigation purposes. And so there is a need to conserve or to minimize the use or to optimize the efficiency in the irrigation system. Before proceeding further, I will try to let you know Haryana has two systems for irrigation. One is based on the Bhakra system, that is we get the water from the Bhakra system, Bhakra dam, which is a storage water. So its availability is also almost ensured. And most of the districts like Sirsa, Fatehabad, Hisar, then Kathal, they get the water through that system. And comparatively, these are getting more water or assured water. The other districts like Karnal, Yamunanagar, Panipat, Sonipat, Rohtak, Gurgaon, Faridabad, then Mewat, Gurgaon, Rewari, Mahendragarh, these districts are getting water through the Yamuna water through. There is a system at Tajewala, we call it as WJC system, Western Yamuna Canal System, which is used for irrigating these districts. Also, we are supplying water to the Delhi as per the interstate, the memorandum of understanding between the states and also the court orders. So these two systems are being upgraded nowadays so that we can have more water, particularly during the rainy season, because otherwise during the rainy season, that water is going through the Yamuna, and now we are trying to use that water, excess water, by increasing the capacity of the carrying canals so that we can store it at different districts, and that can be used for recharging the groundwater. So this is the general system of irrigation in Haryana. Now, as far as demand and availability of water are concerned for state of Haryana, we are having at present 14 MAF, million acre feet of water, against the demand of 32 million acre feet. So there is a huge gap, and the projected demand is 40 million MAF in 2030. So there is a huge gap between the demand and the supply. So there is a need for water conservation. Then as far as water use efficiencies are concerned, so that means whatever water we are getting for irrigation, for agriculture, keeping in view the water use efficiency. As far as the literature was concerned, the overall water use efficiency of whole of Haryana state was 60%, and for WJC system, that is the Yamuna system, it was 40%. But during my PhD research, I have found that the overall water use efficiency of the state, which as per the literature was 60%, has now come to 40%. And the districts of Mewat, Gurgaon, Mahendragarh, Rewari, in the southern Haryana districts, the water use efficiency was hardly 30%, 27%, 28%, 29%, like that. So, and the Mewat has the minimum water use efficiency of 27%. Karnal was having the maximum water use efficiency of 59%. It means we are extracting or utilizing more water than required, or we are wasting the water. That's why the water use efficiency is low. So again, there is a need for water. So using different technologies to improve the water use efficiency, I will discuss you later on. Then third point is the groundwater exploitation. In a big way, in Haryana, groundwater is being overexploited. Out of 128 blocks, 78 blocks have been declared as dark. See the situation. 19 districts, after 22 districts, the water table has gone 20 meter to 60 meter down in the recent years. So this is the gravity of the situation of the groundwater. Again, if you see the district wise, the groundwater has gone to such an extent in Gurgaon. Every year 4 to 5 feet groundwater is going down. Similarly, Ghaziabad, Faridabad, these areas in the NCR, they are almost 2 to 3 feet per year. Delhi, almost 1 feet per year. So if the situation keep on going, so the scenario will be very, very difficult to handle if steps are not taken today. So keeping in view these three factors of wide gap between demand and supply, low water use efficiencies, over exploitation of groundwater, there is urgent need of water conservation at the level of the state, at the level of the government of India, and even at the level of every citizen of country or the state. Now, as I have already told, NITI Aayog has in 2018 given such data, which is very horrifying, that 21 cities will be having zero groundwater. Similarly, if the government of India is also trying to provide clean and clear and safe water to all citizens of India by 2030 to meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6. So again, it's a challenge because the demand is already more, and to meet out these standards, there is a challenge how we can meet it, how can we plan and execute this system. So we have to go for the water conservation. So keeping in view the background of why we should go for water conservation in a big way. Now the government of India and the states have taken certain steps. Say, during the second term of our respected Prime Minister Modi ji, the various ministries have been clubbed together and one ministry, Jal Shakti ministry, has been created, keeping in view the ground realities of the water. Similarly, many policies, many schemes have been started. Say Jal Shakti Mission, JJM, to provide the tap water to every citizen of India by 2024. Then Atal Bhujal Yojana, to recharge the groundwater, so that steps are being taken, schemes are being formulated and executed to recharge the groundwater. Similarly, Haryana has come out with certain policies. I will discuss this point by point, but I'm just telling one or two policies here. Mera Pani, Mera Virasat. Very important scheme launched by government of Haryana recently. Similarly, government of Haryana and government of India is promoting micro irrigation in a big way. The government has come out with certain schemes in the recent past. Similarly, government is trying to promote the organic farming, because we know the kind of traditional agriculture we are doing, farming we are doing, we are using the pesticides, we are using the fertilizers. So they are leading to the pollution of the water. They are polluting the water. Quality of water is deteriorating, and ultimately quality of rivers, the various types of what we say, diseases are spreading in the waterborne diseases are spreading. So these schemes have been implemented or being implemented to improve the quality of the water, because not only groundwater is going down, but the quality of the groundwater is also deteriorating day by day. Now I will come how water conservation can be done, or what steps should be taken as a means to conserve water, to meet the water demands for the future. So number one is water conservation and rainwater harvesting. This is very important step to conserve the water, rainwater harvesting. Before giving details about this, our Prime Minister has in a big way highlighted the go vocal for local. Means with reference to the water resources, my point is that the water from the local area should be stored in that local area itself. Means गांव का पानी गांव में ही रहे, बाहर ना जाए. शहर का पानी शहर में ही रहे, बाहर ना जाए. तहसील या जिले का पानी जिले में ही रहे, स्टेट का पानी स्टेट में ही रहे. ऐसी हमें पॉलिसीज और ऐसे हमें स्टेप्स लेने पड़ेंगे जिससे कि उस पानी को हम मैक्सिमम बरसातों के टाइम में वी कैन यूटिलाइज in the locality itself. That is why rainwater harvesting comes into picture. In that, if we, at a broader aspect, we can, the government is, say in Rajasthan, various check dams have been constructed. Similar steps are being taken by various other states also. The check dams have been helpful to not to allow that water from a village or from that area to the downstream. So that water has been stored through the check dams, and ultimately it has created a storage, and also it has helped in recharging the groundwater of that area. The entire Sahibi River, we used to flow from Rajasthan to Haryana to Gurgaon in the southern states, districts of the Gurgaon to irrigate the fields. We are not getting any water from the last 20 years because Rajasthan has created check dams and have stored or stopped the water, and that is going to help, is helping them in recharging the groundwater. Similarly, the rooftop harvesting, no doubt, in urban areas, the government has come with certain policies that every household above a certain area must have the rainwater harvesting system, so that the rooftop harvesting system, so that whatever water is available during the rains, that can be stored and can be utilized for recharging the groundwater. Similarly, in the urban area and the rural areas, such schemes can be implemented. The water from the various households, from roofs, can be connected through the pipelines, and ultimately that water can be taken out through the pipelines to the outside, somewhere on the low-lying area of that particular village, and where a recharge tank can be created, so that whole water from the water from the whole village is brought in that recharge tank, and that can be helpful for recharging the groundwater of that particular village. I was just going through a video on Facebook last 15 days. A very beautiful structure has been created by some sarpanch in some village in Rajasthan or somewhere like that. Very interesting. We can develop such kind of technologies, such kind of structures. And here, the role of institutes like YMCA, technical institutes, as Professor M.L. Agarwal was telling, that they have been given the renovation work of ponds. So that is given by the government. But I must say that all the technical institutes by their own should come out to help the farmers, to help the villagers, to help the urban area people to store the rainwater harvesting for the rainy water. So that can be helpful. Similarly, the panchayat lands can be used for recharging for storing the water. Say in Haryana, the irrigation department has done a very beautiful exercise during the last 3-4 years. In the rainy season, most of the water is going to Yamuna. and our main systems are closed because already there is a no water demand, minimum water demand in the areas, in the fields. So what the department has thought, that they from the WJC system through the JLN system, because this southern district of ours, that is Rewari and Mahendragarh, the Sahibi river we used to flow to bring more of water during the rainy season from the Rajasthan, and as I have just explained, it has stopped now. So the department has created a lot of water potential there. We have brought the water through the WJC to JLN system, Jawaharlal Nehru Canal system, and that the water during the rainy season has been filled in that Masani Barrage. Now the forest department is developing it, and it's going to be a success story in the near future. Similarly, in many other areas, the government is trying to increase the capacity of carrying channels by investing a huge amount, so that at least during the rainy season, we are planning to bring 4,000 cubics extra water during the rainy season to recharge or to store that rainwater in certain areas where the water is required or groundwater is to be recharged. So such schemes can be very helpful. And also, I have submitted a concept note to the department regarding, as you see, I have certain data. I want to share it. During the rainy season, flood season, the Yamuna has plenty of water and this is flowing through Yamuna, going to from Haryana to UP to and ultimately to the oceans. I have the data from 1978 to 2019. If I am specifically talking from 2 points, Tajewala and Wazirabad in Delhi, say in 2013, Tajewala 8 lakh cubics water released in Yamuna and 8,20,000 cubics released in 2019. Similarly, in Wazirabad, 1,19,000 cubics released in 2019 at downstream Wazirabad and Yamuna, and 1,71,870 cubics during 2018. Such a huge amount of flood water went away through our state of Haryana from Yamunanagar to Palwal, but we could not plan to store it, because that huge amount of water is coming only for limited number of days. So I have given a concept note to the department to store that water along the Yamuna floodplains. Here again, I will request institutes like IITs, YMCA, and all other institute of repute, at least in this length of the Yamuna or along the cities along the Yamuna, I will request that we should come out with certain studies to find out what impact this excess rainfall water will going to have in our floodplain areas if we can plan certain storages, temporary storage, by taking the land on lease from the farmers for say 10 years, 5 years, and we formulate the schemes. I have given a concept note about that, and government is very serious about it. The Delhi government has started a pilot project at Palla upstream, it's just towards Sonipat. And last year they have tried to store the water, that flood water, and I was going through some report in the media that 1 to 1.3 meter, the groundwater has come up by that 1 to 1.3 meter. So it's achievement. If we or our government or our institutes come out with such proposals and such schemes, definitely it will help us in creating a storage and also in recharging the groundwater, which will ultimately help us to improve our water use efficiencies, to meet our water demands for future generations as well. So these were few of the steps or the schemes or the methods we can inculcate so that rainwater harvesting can be done, or flood water or excess flood water can be stored during the flood during the monsoon period, and that can be utilized for the lean seasons of remaining 9 or 10 months, 8, 9 months, for drinking, for agriculture, for industrial use, and all that. Also, that water which we can save, we can store, that can also be useful, because when we have the storage in the areas, so we need less of canal water. So less of canal water means more water will be available in Yamuna during the lean period, which is very essential for e-flow, environmental flow, because nowadays we are having a lot of problem in maintaining the ecology of the Yamuna river downstream of Tajiwala up to Delhi. So that will help in that way also. Then comes very important aspect of renovation or revival of water bodies, the topic of interest everywhere, from Prime Minister to CM Haryana to every common man of India. Because if you think, if you go back, the rural economy was based on the ponds, johads, tanks, water tanks, because these were the only sources of water where flood water was used to be stored, and that was used for that pond used for irrigation, for bathing of the kettles, and for recharging the groundwater also. So that was a very essential part of the economy, rural economy. But with the passage of time, or with the development taking place on a in such a haphazard manner, that these water bodies or tanks or johads or ponds were encroached upon, were not properly maintained. But now the government is very serious. The government of Haryana is serious to that extent that it has created its own Haryana Water Pond Authority. The mandate of the authority is to revive or renovate the ponds in rural areas as well as in the urban areas. And the authority has so far identified more than 16,000 ponds all over Haryana. And out of that, almost 4,000 ponds have been planned and projects have been prepared, and some of them have been executed. The state, the pond authority has identified some model ponds also, at least one to two pond in each district. And recently in Kathal district, there is a, I must say, Kudak village in Kathal district, where a model pond has been developed in almost 30 acres of land, and that has become a role model for other ponds to be developed. So, Mr. Agrawal, I will, after the, or maybe within next 2 or 3 days, we can sit together or we can talk together, and we can, I can give you inputs how to, we can go for revival and renovation of ponds which have been assigned to the YMCA in Faridabad, Palwal or Mewa. So
Right,
that
sir.
we can discuss. Similarly, very interesting point is that the government of Haryana has also identified 49 water bodies which are having area more than 10 hectares. And that DPR of 4 water bodies have been cleared from the Standing Technical Committee of the Irrigation Department, and now they have been sent to the government for allocation of the budget. 3 are in Sonipat, 1 is in Rohtak. So remaining, the DPR is being prepared by various consultants, and we are hoping that during the next 1 year, at least 10 water bodies of that much of area of 10, more than 10 hectare area will be developed in state of Haryana. So state is taking various steps for the renovation. Then comes the recycle and reuse, because water is limited. So whatever water is available, we have to optimize it. Say for drinking water, whatever amount is used for drinking water, almost 80% of that is taken as a sewage water. We are, when a sewage system is designed, we are taking 80% almost. It's thumb rule. So it means 80% drinking water which was the drinking water which was supplied, out of that 80% has become wastewater through the STPs. It is being treated and or treated or untreated and then going waste. So now government of Haryana and also the government of the country is very serious to find out the alternate sources and how to optimize the use for irrigation and other miscellaneous uses. The government of Haryana has taken various steps. A policy has been formulated in Haryana where it has become mandatory for each municipal committee or each STP to utilize 25% of the wastewater in their locality for gardening, for miscellaneous works, for if you have the golf courses and all that. So to use that water for municipal jobs within the municipal limits. This is being done in phased manner, 50% by 2025, then 80%, then 100% in the coming years. So government is trying to make use of the wastewater which is not used at present. Similarly, irrigation department has come out with a very fine policy of utilizing the sewerage wastewater, because we have limited water for irrigation. The canals run for 8 days in a month, and for remaining 22 to 24 days there is no water. So when crop need water during that particular period of 20 or 24 days, so though there is no water for the crop, so government has come out with a scheme, pipeline scheme from the treated STPs to supply that treated water to the farmers so that they can use the water during, at least during that period where the canal is not running. So we are optimizing the use of the wastewater. It will definitely help in increasing the crop production, and ultimately farmer will become Atmanirbhar, which is the new buzzword nowadays, how to make Atmanirbhar to tackle the pandemics like Corona or COVID-19. So the government has cleared project of 500 crore rupees for such kind of projects to use the recycled or treated water for irrigation purpose. I myself has formulated a project in Gurgaon from Gurgaon STP. It was 20 years back. That is very successful success story of using the wastewater, treated wastewater of Gurgaon to irrigate the arid and dry areas of Jhajjar, which were not having any source of water for irrigation. And now the people of that area are very happy. From the last 15-20 years, they are getting the treated wastewater for irrigation. So such schemes will definitely help the farmers and help to conserve or to reduce the pressure on the available resources. Similarly, I come to again the Faridabad, Palwal and Mewat area. You see, these areas are getting the irrigation water through the Agra Canal and Gurgaon Canal, which are getting water, which are the maximum water is either the sewage water or the industrial effluent of the industries, which or illegal sewage water coming through the illegal colonies and all that. So that water is ultimately being used by farmers for irrigation, for drinking by cattle, and leading to various kinds of waterborne diseases. It has been reported in many newspapers that cancer is coming in a big way in Mewat area because of the polluted groundwater. So the government is very serious, thinking seriously how to tackle the problem. And I myself has formulated the pilot project for treating this water on bioremedy by using the bioremediation technologies. It may be bacteria-based technology, it may be algae-based technology, it may be some people claim there is a Vedic science of treating that wastewater. So we are trying to find out the different players in the field of bioremediation technologies, and one such pilot project has been got cleared by me from my department, and now that has been referred to the group of ministers, so that the project, once the project is cleared by group of ministers, that can be taken as a pilot project on Agra Canal and Gurgaon Canal, on 2 or 3 canals. And based on the success of that how much parameters as per the Central Pollution Control Board, whether the technology achieved those parameters, then the tenders can be floated on a bigger way, so that these 3-4 districts of Gurgaon, Mewat, Palwal, Faridabad, which are not as fortunate as the other districts, because we are getting the polluted water, so they may be benefited, and that will help, and also that will utilize the recycled water for irrigation and for making the farmers Atmanirbhar. Then next comes the micro irrigation. Again, the government of Haryana is very serious and trying to give priority to the water, that har khet ko pani. Every khet farm gets the water, and more crop per drop, which are the motto of the water policies of the government of Haryana and government of India, which by using the sprinkler and the drip irrigation. And for micro irrigation, the government has identified 44 blocks where if a farmer is opting for micro irrigation, 100% subsidies given to the farmer. In the remaining other than 45 blocks, the subsidy is 85%. So government is promoting the micro irrigation in a big way, so that water is efficiently, because I have mentioned that water use efficiency has gone to such an extent low, that is Mewat area is in 27%, and overall efficiency of Yamuna Canal system is hardly 40%. So this micro irrigation or promoting micro irrigation will definitely help us to have optimized and efficient use of the water resources. So, and the government has taken up certain pilot projects in Pehowa, in Shahabad, in Kurukshetra area. Some pilot projects have been successfully by using the solar system, solar pumps. So based upon the success of that, the other type of this micro irrigation, solar-based micro irrigation system can be developed in Haryana. Government is seriously thinking over it. Then comes very interesting point, crop diversification. Government is very serious about it, because the farmers are mostly going for rice, and rice is very water intensive, utilizing maximum water. So government has formulated a policy or a scheme, Mera Pani Meri Virasat. Under that scheme, a farmer who changes from rice to horticulture crops, oil seeds, maize, pulses, will be given incentive to the extent of 7,000 rupees per acre. It's a good incentive. And the target was 50,000 hectare of the total 50,000 hectare of land was to be converted from rice fields to this alternate crops. And as far as my knowledge of say last 15-20 days back, I was going through some newspaper cutting, more than 1 lakh hectare land has been, the people have registered, and that land is more than 1 lakh, means the target is, what was the target? We have achieved more than that. So farmers are very happy. So such schemes will definitely help us to to reduce the use of the water resources and ultimately lead to the water use efficiency. Once the water use efficiency is increased, then we can save the water for other requirements. We can save the water from irrigation, from agriculture, and we can use it for e-flows, environmental flows. We can use it for drinking. We can use it for other miscellaneous uses. So then other aspect of water conservation is plantation. As we know, plantation helps in a big way. Same, because more the plants, more is greenery, more is the evapotranspiration, and more is the rainfall. So because plants play an important role in the water cycle. So as myself, I have tried to, during the last 3-4 years, of course, government is also doing a lot of plantation, but as myself, as a person, not as a superintendent engineer, but as a person, as a citizen of India, as a citizen of Haryana, from the last 3-4 years, I have planted more than 2 lakh fruit tree plants in almost 70 villages of the Palwal district. 1 lakh fruit tree plants were planted during this July and August itself. The idea is more is the plant, more is the greenery, more is the ET, more is the water, more is the rainfall. And also the roots of the plants retain certain amount of water. Also soil erosion is stopped by the roots of the plants. So it's helping a lot in water conservation in that way. So more, I will request all the listeners, all the institute professors and students, wherever you get any chance, please go for plantation in a big way, and also tell the people or take the oath to maintain or to take care of that plant till at least for 3-4 years, so that once it is the growth takes place, it can survive itself. Then next is the awareness, very important aspect, because nothing can succeed, particularly the water conservation, forestation, all these require the people's participation. People participation, community participation, Jan Bhagidari in Hindi we call it. Unless we go for such kind of initiatives, we are not going to make much success. And this Corona period has, we have learned a lot from this Corona period, that we have to go for conserving water, because if there is no water, then Corona like viruses, how can we wash hands then? So we have to change our habits. We have to change our lifestyles to save water. Of course, what I am talking for 1 minute now is a common sense. We are washing hands, the tap is on. We are shaving, the tap is on. And many such kind of mistakes. We are brushing, the tap is on. So we are wasting the water, and which nowadays has become very so precious. So please, we try to change our habits. RO water is going wasted. So optimize the use of that waste RO water for gardening, for car washing, and all those things. So small habit change can do wonders, because we are 130 crore. That number can help us to save the water. So with these words, I thank everyone for your kind sparing your time to listen to me. I think we must take oath or pledge to conserve water and to plant more and more trees in future from the day to day itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving all our participants a key detailed aspects on the ground realities related to the water condition. I hope our participants would definitely be benefited by knowing the different policies, regulations of the government, how they are working out in different aspects. Thank you, sir. Now we can take few questions from the participants. So from the participants, now I request the participants if they will like to ask few questions, you can unmute yourself and one by one we can take the questions.
Sir, yesterday one speaker tell about water conservation. He was saying we should take bath only with one bucket of water. एक बाल्टी पानी से नहाना चाहिए. यदि आप पूरे सब लोग ये implement करेंगे तो it will save a lot of quantity of water.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion regarding this, sir?
It's a good suggestion. Definitely, we must go for it. We have to save water by changing our lifestyle, changing our habits, and small habits can be changed easily. Otherwise, the day will come when there will be no water, and our generations will not forgive us.
So there is
Actually,
one question
Yeah.
by Abhay Parashar. He has asked, sir, are there any disadvantages of micro irrigation?
Because the cost is a major factor and government is giving subsidy to that extent, I don't think as far as our feedback so far, we are not getting such any negative feedback so far. If he has some point of view, then definitely it can be taken care of.
Any other questions from the participants?
Can I come, please?
Yes, sir, please.
So I was stuck somewhere. I'm sorry. I just planned to come in time, but I was stuck somewhere. Just I am joining. I'm rushing and joining. I had to go somewhere in emergency. So I'm also water engineer retired. So Dr. Shiv, from his talk, he is one of our brilliant engineer.
Thank you, sir.
From Haryana Irrigation. So IITN. So I know him very closely. So whatever he must have told you must have been, great benefit to all the students and faculty members. So I have also given my mail ID. So I can share a couple of things on water conservation. I wrote certain papers on water conservation and water harvesting and canal water management. I served almost 35 Haryana government and 5 years abroad also in the irrigation department. Then I served 12 years in IT field, as a operational head there. So I will also love maybe one day to interact with you, so to the students and share my thoughts. So I missed very unfortunately because I had to take my mother to hospital and I just came back. Yes.
Thank you, sir. You spared your time and come at least
thank you.
join.
Any particular question I can also, with doctor can share also.
Any other questions from the participants?
So, Dr. Puri, now I think there is no question.
Yes.
Water management is such an important subject. So nobody could think that water would be sold in bottles. We never imagined that water will be sold. And the time is coming. Maybe our next generation, so we may not be able to sustain it. And water will have to come in, train or bogies. When I got my service started in Luharu, there is one place near Pilani. My man used to go to with a bucket of water. So it used to go there and have the water from by the train. One compartment used to detach it because the water table is totally sour there. It is not fit for drinking. And same thing, many of you must have seen, this river Yamuna near Okhla. So people used to take bath there. Now see, if you touch your hand, there will be skin problem. You will have to call dermatologist if you take bath there. So this is what, transforming. We have to learn it. This is one of the most important subject. So for for everybody.
Definitely, sir. You have. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
also your valuable experience points.
Yes.
Sir, there is one question, Rawat. Sir, there is one question from Abhay itself. He says, "Ki, sir, the micro irrigation projects using treated water from sewage treatment plants are usually about of the cost 500 crores. Are they too way less to invest, or are we adapting from the developed countries like Japan and USA in this field?"
It's just we are preparing the projects and we have got it clear from the central government. And now the projects have been, DPR has been prepared. And whatever STPs are there, the standard parameters have to be met, whatever Central Pollution Control Board says. If those parameters are met by the treated effluent, then that can be used for irrigation. So raw water cannot be used for irrigation.
And so there is just one more question that is being asked by Priyanshu Verma. He says, sir, is there any criteria for opening the gates of a dam, or we can randomly open any gate?
No. There are certain rules and regulations for opening the gates. And as far as the Tajewala is concerned, we have with the canal system, depending on our rotation system, the gates of the regulator are opened according to the rotation system. Say one canal, say we have at a particular regulation point, we have 5 canals, and 2 are in on period, means they will run. So remaining 3 will not be opened. Only 2 canals gates will be opened, so that for 8 or 10 days, whatever rotation period they have, they will run for that period. Then there will be down. The other 2 or 3 as per the rotation will be opened. It's a demand and supply base in that way. Of course, not we cannot say demand and supply, but at least regulation is through the rotation based. It's time based.
So there is also one more question by Dr. Somveer. He has asked, sir, there are different issues related to the contamination of water, and this is especially in the Panipat region from different textile industry. So how are the different government departments looking into this area to resolve this?
The main controlling authority is this Haryana State Pollution Control Board. So irrigation.
Can I come, please?
Yes, please.
Can I come?
Ji sir.
Yeah. You see, Delhi population used to be 20 to 25 lakhs couple of years back. Now the Delhi population is 1 crore 20 lakhs. All the sewage, all the muck. No, it is the only source is Yamuna. So it all goes to Yamuna, and you can imagine how much the pollution is there. Though as per statutory norms, as per Supreme Court orders, so they have to treat it and then they have to release the water in the Yamuna. But how far, our country culture is, very much, how much it is being done and released there, totally treated water, and all industries. So they are supposed to treat the water and then to release the water in Yamuna. So this is the only source for Delhi, when they release the water. And that is why the water gets so much polluted. And in spite of so many regulations, there are a lot of constraints also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I think, sir, with this, we have taken near about all the questions from the participants. So with this, sir, I again thank you on behalf of Department of Civil Engineering and Department of Environment Sciences for taking out your precious time from your busy schedule in guiding all our participants in the different ground realities of water related issues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much. And I request you, whenever you are going near to our university, please give a call so that we can show our water lab. We have very good water labs. And we have also developed some pump, which is run by pedal, not by energy, not by any electrical energy. So that can be used on ponds, sir.
The very innovative way of doing the things. Thank you.
Sir,
thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
I would like to say something. Myself, Dr. Renuka Gupta, Chairperson, Department of Environmental Sciences. First of all, my heartiest thanks to you for joining us today in this faculty development program. And then thank you, sir, for such an insightful talk on water conservation, especially on the real data available for Haryana, schemes available, and what the government is doing to conserve groundwater and surface water, especially the irrigation techniques and incentives to given to the kisan to make them atmanirbhar. And you very rightly said that the educational institutions like YMCA can play a significant role in addressing this issue. And sir, it gives me immense pleasure to inform you that we are developing a water lab in the Department of Environmental Sciences to address the water quality related issues in the surrounding area. And with the eminent expert like you with us, we will certainly do something significant in this area. So once again, I thank you for joining us today, and
Thank you.
we will be in touch with you. We will definitely use your expertise and take the benefit of your expertise and experience in this area for the benefit of the society. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And all the best for the new lab.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Rawat,
Ji.
I would also like to thank you on behalf of Department of Chemistry, JC Bose University,
Thank you. Thank you.
because
We,
we both
we,
are alumni from IIT Delhi. So
we
it
missed,
becomes like,
thank you. We missed your participation in plantation.
yeah. Next year,
Okay.
we would
Okay.
like to have a very good planning on major level.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think not missed, I am participating in university.
Good.
Just come to our campus and you can observe we are working a lot in this direction.
Definitely. I will try to visit your
सर
university.
हम भी यूनिवर्सिटी में हर साल प्लांटेशन प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज कराते हैं एंड कोशिश करते हैं कि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स और जो हमारे डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उन सबको हम एक प्लांट जरूर अडॉप्ट कराएं और उसकी जिम्मेदारी दें सो दैट वो ग्रो करे और ट्री में कन्वर्ट हो जाए और उसके लिए डिफरेंट कॉम्पिटिशन्स भी ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं सेल्फी कॉम्पिटिशन्स भी हम ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं टू मोटिवेट द स्टूडेंट्स एंड अदर्स टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द प्रोग्राम so
Good. All the best.
thank you sir. Thank you sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Now, with this, we mark the end of the morning session of this program. I request all of you to be present for the afternoon session at least 10-15 minutes before.
Okay.
So with this, sir, now we can close this session.
Yes, we can conclude, sir.
Well done, Dr. Rawat. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
To all faculty members.
Thank you all.
Renuka, thank you.